Well, hey guys, it's Darwin, and today I want to share some of the new gear that I've recently added to my kit for better winter backpacking. All right, so recently I lost my voice, so bear with me with the weird scratchy voice. If you guys have been watching any of my recent videos, you'll know that I've been gearing up for some winter backpacking. We recently got our first snow here in Flagstaff. I've been itching to get out in the elements. Not to mention that I've gotten into mountaineering, and mountaineering and winter backpacking go hand in hand. You have to have one to do the other. So I've wanted to upgrade some of my gear in my kit to make me more efficient, more comfortable, and warmer when I'm out in the winter conditions. This year, I've really wanted to, just get out more and enjoy the backcountry in the snow, something I've never really done in the past. Embrace the suck that winter conditions can provide in certain times. So if I was gonna go out and do a mountaineering trip, obviously this isn't the only stuff I would take, and I would add some heavier duty gear to that setup, but this is my main general gear that I'll be going out for weekend overnights, or maybe longer section hikes, or even approaches to a mountaineering trip. Again, to make me more comfortable, warmer, and more efficient. So the first thing that I have upgraded in my kit is my cook system. For years, I have used the same cook system, which is the BRS Ultralight Stove and the Snow Peak 700 titanium mug. This has worked for just about everything that I do, and yes, I even use it in the winter. But first off, the BRS stove is not that efficient when it comes to winter. Number one, it blows out really easy. So if there's a hardcore wind, this thing is gonna go out. Two, it has no regulator in it, so it's not as efficient on fuel as some of the stoves that have a regulator. And three, I always have to use a lighter with this, so if I'm wearing a thick glove and it's really cold outside, I gotta take the glove off, I gotta grab a lighter and hopefully get it to light in the wind. So not as efficient as it could be. And then as far as the pot goes, it's just a little feature lacking for what I want during the winter. As you can see, I like to cook on an open fire, and I've done it a ton in the past with this, but it's a bit of a pain because I don't have a bail to pick it up off the fire or place it back with. So I always have to figure out how to grab these handles out of the fire. And I've never had a lid for this. I think when I first bought it, it came with like a stainless steel lid, which was crazy heavy. It had no handle on it, so I got rid of it. And I've always used just a piece of aluminum foil to make sure that I'm covering the top to get a better boil. So that's something that I wanted. So I've decided to upgrade to a different system. The first thing is something I talked about in a recent video, which is the Soto Windmaster. This stove is obviously better in the wind, hence why it's called the Windmaster. The burner is actually down in there, so when there's a direct wind, it won't blow it out. Number two, it has a piezo on there. So I can light this while I'm wearing thick gloves, and I don't have to use a lighter in windy conditions to make sure it lights up faster. And three, it has a regulator in it. So it is much more efficient with fuel at colder temps. And then along with the Windmaster, I've upgraded my pot to the new evolved Supplyco 750 titanium pot. This is a new product that my company is putting out in a couple weeks on our website. But basically what I wanted to do with it is, number one, as you can see, put a bail on it. So I can set this on and take it off of a fire if I decide to build a fire to save on gas during the winter. Aside from the bail, we've also put a titanium lid on there with a bigger wooden knob. Not only is it bigger so it's easier to grab with a pair of gloves, but it also doesn't get hot when this gets hot. You know, the problem with those little fold over handles that they tend to put on lids on a lot of titanium pots is that thing gets hot. And something that is not really akin to winter backpacking, but it does have a pour spout, mainly just to make it easier to pour water into something like a dehydrated meal, which I do eat a lot of during the winter. No couscous for the winter, my friends. I honestly don't understand why most companies don't put a pour spout on basically every mug. Typically, you only see that on either a coffee press or one of the bigger pots. So adding that was just a no-brainer. These are gonna actually be available in the next couple weeks over on our website, Evolve Supply Co. And this is just a prototype that I've been using, but along with this and the Soto Windmaster, I think this kit is gonna be a lot more efficient, a lot easier to use, and just more efficient on fuel and more efficient in the wind for me in the backcountry this winter. Next up is my sleep system. Now, for years, I've basically used the exact same system, a 20-degree quilt, like the Enlightened Equipment Enigma, and one of two pads, either the Thermarest X-Lite, the old classic crinkly standby that I've had forever, or the Thermarest Uberlite, which over the last couple years, I would say I use this about 80% of the time, and it's one of these two pads and that quilt no matter what season that I'm backpacking in. But obviously I wanna get down into some much colder temps and be comfortable on the snow, so I've decided to upgrade my system to a 0-degree quilt, the Enlightened Equipment Enigma Zero, and the Thermarest X-Therm that has an R value of 6.9. What's funny about the quilt is that is actually the first 0-degree quilt I've ever owned. Again, I'm a warm sleeper and I don't spend a whole lot of time in the snow, and 20-degree has typically worked for me. I think the warmest bag that I've ever had maybe went down to 10 degrees, but the 0-degree quilt paired with a 6.9 R value pad should keep me pretty nice and toasty for the winter. And then along with those, bringing something that I would bring anyways, which is the Gossamer Gear 1/8" foam pad, so I can put that under this and create a little bit more of a barrier between me and the snow. And just in case this fails, I'm not gonna freeze to death laying on top of snow. With that system, I should be pretty damn comfortable for the winter backpacking that I have planned. The next gear upgrade I've made for winter backpacking is my clothing system. Again, for the past handful of years, I've pretty much used the exact same layering system. Typically, I hike in a sun hoodie, a pair of shorts. I'll bring a pair of tights with me to put under the shorts, sometimes a thicker pair if it's colder, but mostly a thinner pair of leggings. I bring a hoodie, some sort of a mid-layer hoodie, like a natural fiber hoodie, a thermal jacket, synthetic, and a ultralight rain jacket. Typically with that system, I can put it on and I'm good in most environments and at most elevations that I've hiked in. But again, for winter backpacking, true winter, hardcore, cold, snowy weather, that system's probably not gonna cut it anymore. So I've decided to upgrade to a sun hoodie. So I'm still sticking with that. The Evolve Supply Co. Merino sun hoodie, a pair of, get ready for this, pants. Yep, I'm starting to hike in pants. A pair of cool Renegade pants to definitely help protect my legs, make those a little warmer. Under those, a pair of merino wool tights. These are the Icebreaker 150 zones. So to make myself a little bit warmer. On top of that, I have a pair of the Enlightened Equipment Visp pants. I'm not actually sure if they even make these anymore, but an extra layer to put on top of that. A nice mid-layer, an active mid-layer, which is what I'm wearing right now. The Nerona Alpha 90. I absolutely love this thing and have been living out of it lately. Really nice, has that alpha fabric, so it's super breathable, super stretchy. A new jacket that I've been using recently, which is the Evolve Supply Co. and Enlightened Equipment Outcast jacket. Again, synthetic, a little bit heavier duty, a little bit thicker, better for wind. And a rain jacket, another ultralight rain jacket, which is the Enlightened Equipment Visp. So this system should keep me nice and toasty when I'm moving through the environment or hanging out at camp. Now, as far as shoes go, it's really dependent on the trip of what I'm gonna choose. honestly, most times I still go for a trail runner with a pair of waterproof socks, or in some cases, in more hardcore cases, using something like a heavy duty mountaineering boot. I'm still trying to figure out what is kind of my middle of the road footwear for some winter backpacking. Looking for something a little heavier duty than this, but not as heavy duty as this. So, you know, some of these things are definitely gonna change out depending on what type of trip that I'm going on, whether I need to add layers or take layers away. But for the most part, this system should keep me a lot warmer and a lot more comfortable on the trail this winter. And the last thing that I'm upgrading for the winter is my shelter. Now, for years, I have been a massive fan of trekking pole tents. And yes, I've even used trekking pole tents in the snow. And as much as I like them, they are a bit of a pain in the ass to use in snow and ice, and a freestanding shelter is definitely a better option. So recently, I have been looking and trying and testing out a bunch of different new freestanding shelters. I think the last time that I used a freestanding shelter was back in 2015 on the AT, but the ones that I've been trying out are the old classic standby Big Agnes Copper Spur UL1. I used a UL2 on the AT, so I know this is a good tent. A little bit more of an expensive option, but a good one, which is the Samaya Assault. Now, this tent is specifically made for mountaineering, so it's definitely geared up for winter backpacking. However, it does have a very hefty price tag, and I'm borrowing this from a friend. Honestly, glad I didn't buy it yet. A new shelter and a new freestanding tent that I'm trying from a brand new company. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm supposed to be taking that out and testing that. And the tent that I probably used more than all of them, which is the Z-Packs Free Duo, which is the only freestanding shelter that Z-Packs makes. But right now, I am basically still trying to decide what I want to use going forward, and I'm not 100% decided on what is going to be the perfect freestanding shelter for me. There's a few things that I'm looking for in a freestanding shelter, not just for general backpacking, but also for some higher elevation trips like mountaineering. So when I get done testing these, I am going to be doing a video kind of comparing all of the different freestanding shelters, you know, talking about what this shelter is the best for, what shelter this is the best for, and what shelter this is the best for. So keep an eye out for that. But along with my shelter, I've also needed to upgrade my stakes so I can keep the damn shelter down. The tent stake that I have loved and used for years now is the MSR Mini Groundhog. But for snow, for ice, it's a little short, doesn't have as much grip. So recently I have upgraded these to their bigger brother, the regular MSR Groundhogs. A little bit longer, a little bit thicker, so they should get a better bite in the snow. Along with those, I've added a couple of the classic REI snow stakes. You guys have probably seen these a billion times. Every time you walk into an REI, a lot of people use these as a poop shovel, but they'll have a better bite in the snow. And speaking of poop shovel, the other thing that I've decided to add to this setup is the Vargo Dig Dig trowel. Now, you're saying, Darwin, what does a trowel have to do with winter backpacking and stakes? Well, not only does the Dig Dig work as an awesome shovel to bury your turd, it also doubles as a snow stake. So you can get that down, get a real good bite in the snow, get your guy line wrapped around it. So I love gear that has multi-purposes. So I decided to upgrade and get rid of my old Deuce of Spade trowel to something that I can use for multi-purpose. So there you guys go. That's everything that I will be using this year for winter backpacking. Again, some of this stuff will probably swap out here and there. I still have to make a decision which shelter I'm gonna go with. And you know, stuff like my footwear will definitely change depending on the trip. And the only other thing that I can think of that I will be using or changing is snow travel. So something like my MSR Evo snowshoe. I've used these guys for years and it's my preferred thing to travel on snow, but I have been looking at possibly upgrading to some backcountry skis. I'm still kind of on the fence of what I want to go with, but that's something that I could be changing and upgrading as the winter goes on. Speaking of that, what gear have you recently upgraded in your kit for better winter backpacking? What's something that you've used for years to make you more comfortable, warmer, and more efficient in the backcountry on the snow? Leave us something down below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you're taking care of each other. I love you. And as always, thanks for watching.